Hey, on this week's episode of Optimal Health Journey, I'm going to talk to you about the process of reclaiming your health after you've lost it. So join me on this walk through Mount Timbiwa Forest. Well, here we are at the start of my long walk, Sunday morning, and this is Tawantin Forest. It's where I like to go for a walk and run. There's quite a few different trails up this way. Gets into some rainforest and some dry forest. But the walk we're going to go on today is up the side of Mount Timbiwa. It's fairly steep. It's a pretty tough walk, but as my fitness gets better day by day, finding it easier and easier to do it. So let's go and have some fun. Well, made it to the top. As you can see, I'm all hot and sweaty and out of breath. And it is really humid here. You can hear that there's not as many birds now. The sun's got up, it's getting warm, so the birds all go and rest for the day. So yeah, it's a pretty tough walk, but it's one that when I started out, I'll share with more of you on my health journey in other videos. But when I started out doing this walk nearly a year ago I couldn't really do it. I thought I might drop dead of a heart attack, right? When I started out doing it, I really struggled, and now I can sort of power up it. Even though I'll be out of breath when I get to the top, I can power up it without my heart rate getting too out of control, so I'm definitely getting fitter. And last year's been a journey. November last year, no, not last year, the year before. So November 2018, I had a routine blood test, and it came back as having an indicator for cancer. I had a huge amount of other health issues as well. I was 125 kilos. At my worst, about 5 years earlier, I'd been 132 kilos. So that's 290 pounds, 295 pounds. So those blood tests came back November, Aussies are giving me a hard time, November 2018. And that one blood test led to another and led to all sorts of tests. And by May of 2019, I was diagnosed with cancer. So that was a kick in the pants. Decided I didn't really gel with me, traditional medical treatments for cancer. So I decided I'd look for other options. I haven't said no to the medical institution. In fact, I'm working with them, for monitoring my condition and so on. Always mindful when I hear a noise in the bush. So working with my health providers and so on. But I decided, back in my early 20s, I'd been interested in this thing called natural hygiene. And I lived it for a period of time, maybe 6 months, maybe a year, not 100%, but enough to get reasonably healthy then. And then life got in the way. I got divorced, and pressures of life and stress, and I'd always been an emotional eater. So I turned to food and alcohol, and my weight and everything got progressively worse over time. And obesity set in. I was I think in the morbidly obese category. Life is full of problems, people, and this path that I've been walking on all through the forest here, lately we've had a huge amount of rain after droughts and fires. Welcome to Queensland. It's become impassable, this path. There's a few of them that I walk on and become impassable, but there's always a way around. So life and your health journey is just about finding the path around, right? the obstacles we have. And whatever your health challenges are, there's always a way around. Don't let a little puddle get in your way. So, you know, with obesity comes a whole host of other health issues, you know. I mean, not to mention just the fact that you feel crap, lack of energy, but I had, you know, gastric reflux, acid reflux issues. They were pretty bad. I ended up with a tumour in my stomach, which was fortunately benign. Had all sorts of digestive issues. I had gout, you know, what some people might refer to as fibromyalgia, and what else? Oh, osteoarthritis. That was a beauty. Still got that. Lots of joint issues and so on. So my health was a mess, you know. And getting diagnosed with cancer is actually an absolute blessing for me. Probably the best thing that ever happened to me, because, as the doctors are saying to me, you got a choice of surgery or radiation for your cancer. I was thinking to myself, neither of those two sound appealing, and there's got to be a better way. So I remember back to my early 20s, natural hygiene. So I was 51 at the time. So 30 years earlier, I've been interested in this thing called natural hygiene, and I thought I'd better investigate that. Okay, so I've been walking for about 15 minutes now through what is, you know, the easy part of the walk. But we're coming up to what my wife and I refer to. Have a look at that rainforest there, beautiful, hey? Coming up to the part my wife and I refer to as four ways. Basically because the path goes in four different directions here. We're pretty blessed to have an abundance of options. So go back the way we came, or the path I've been going on lately a lot is this one. Fairly flat, but there's a couple of creek crossings. So when it rains it gets a bit hard to cross, but I've been starting to get back into very slow pace running. This one here, which is straight up the side of Mount Timbiwa, which is where we're heading, and you've got another fairly flat path there. That's the way we've come. Look at these gums. There are koalas in here. We've seen a couple, kangaroos and so on. So anyway, this is four ways, and this is where we're heading. Straight up the side of Mount Timbiwa. We don't go all the way up to the lookout, but we go far enough up. You'll see how steep it gets in a moment. We're heading right into some rainforest area here. About putting one foot in front of the other. It's the only way you're going to improve your health. One foot in front of the other, folks. Where we just come from. Mozzies are pretty intense in here at the moment, so I won't stand and talk for too long. But have a look at these beautiful gum trees. This whole area here is a koala protection reserve. We've only seen a few koalas, but I've been learning how to track them. You have a look on this gum tree right here. It's coming into here. Check out these claw marks here, right? They're koala claw marks. You can see it's on there, right? You can see he's hopped his way up the tree. That's what koalas do. Another one there, around the corner there, right? And then there's some just up above the bark there. And then if you go a bit further, I don't know if you can see those, but definitely been a koala up this tree at some point. And as I said, we've seen a few, not heaps. But it is great to see that. It's like a fairly fresh claw mark. Koalas hop their way up trees. You will see other claw marks up the gum trees if you look closely. They're usually goannas though. But that's exciting to know that there's been a koala here. So, you know, maybe in some of the gum trees in a thicker bush there, might be where he's hanging out. He's hoping, hey. So I started researching on the net, and fortunately, you know, in the era we live in today, there wasn't so much information available when I was interested in it 30 years ago. But today there's lots of information. Not enough. We need to get the message of natural hygiene out there, which is why I've started the Optimal Health Academy, to educate people. I'm not a practitioner or a healer or anything like that. But I'm an educator. So I've got the ability to take in huge amounts of information and research and then simplify it down for people to be able to learn. So natural hygiene is something that actually has been around for thousands of years in different formats. And basically it's a recognition that there's no healing force outside the body. So the body is the only healing force. So medical intervention has an effect, often has a side effect. But yeah, there's no healing force outside the body. It's a philosophy of living in a natural, harmonious way, in harmony with nature, which is why I'm here in the bush, right? And that encompasses everything from, sleep, air. That's why we moved up here. Oh, look at that fresh, beautiful air. Right? Moved away from the cities and moved away from an urban life. Water, relaxation, peace of mind. Nutrition, obviously, is a huge one. And stress management, emotional management, it's all of that. So it's not just one thing. Some people are confused natural hygiene as just being about fruitarianism. But natural hygiene is a more all-encompassing philosophy of how you live life in harmony with nature. So that's what I started to follow. Not 100%. My first step was one of the key principles of natural hygiene is removing causation. It's about cause and effect. So if you have a health effect, like I had, obesity, right, gastric reflux issues, hypertension, high blood pressure. My blood pressure was through the roof, and high cholesterol. I think it was 5.2 in the Australian system of measuring it. They're all effects. What are they effects of? Well, they're effects of living your life out of harmony with nature, the natural intended way for mankind to live. And so one of the first principles of natural hygiene is to remove causation. If you stop doing the things that made you ill in the first place, then your body has infinite intelligence. Body knows how to heal itself when you cut it. It knows how to take in solid food matter and break it down to amino acids and glycogen and all the good things the body needs. The body has inbuilt intelligence, right? So that inbuilt intelligence can only really work when you're living in harmony with nature. And a large part of that's what you put in the big hole, the big hole on your face, right? As much as we like to eat all the yummy tasting things loaded with fat, sugar, salt, they're the cause of so many health issues we have in the Western world today. So what did I do? I started to remove the causation. Not immediately. I didn't go 100%, it's been a journey, and that's why I'm making these videos, so you can follow along on the journey. And my journey hasn't ended, it's only just begun. So what are we now? We're coming up to March. So really in March of 2019, so what's that, about 5 months after that initial blood test which indicated I might have a problem with cancer, by March, I'd had a number of other tests and it was getting more and more likely. I hadn't had a biopsy yet, but things were getting more and more serious. And so it was then that I decided I was going to go plant-based. So again, that's removing causation. I removed all processed foods. I removed all animal products. Not entirely, initially not entirely, but certainly 90%. The day I got confirmation, following a biopsy, I went out for lunch with my wife that day. I had my last piece of meat and my last drink of alcohol. And so that was May 17th, 2019. So what was I, after that I gave up alcohol, gave up coffee, gave up everything, and started following the principles of natural hygiene. Not perfectly, right? I still found myself eating some processed foods, like going into the health food aisle of shopping centres and stuff, and thinking that because it said health food, that I was eating that stuff, right? It's still processed food. So you've got to be careful of all the vegan products that are coming out. There's millions of them now, and everyone's trying to get on the bandwagon and make money. That's not healthy, right? Got to get back to natural health. All right, just about there. Coming to the end of this path, which is the road up to the Timbiwa lookout. And probably hear a car coming. But just to Make sure you've really had a good workout. Pushing another kicker of a hill right here. And usually I'm feeling pretty good today, mainly because I've a few reasons, but I'd say I've stopped a few times to film. But I'm feeling pretty good, so this one's not posing me too many problems. My goal is to touch that bar at the top there. I haven't always been able to do it. And start again. So as I said before, one of the key principles of natural hygiene is to remove causation. In other words, stop doing those things that are causing you harm. Stop eating the foods that we know are leading to a decline in your health, right? Leading to a toxic load in the body. So processed foods, animal products, all animal products, dairy, eggs. The only things you need to focus on are really fresh, healthy, organic fruit and veggies. In a raw state as much as possible, and so I started doing that. I removed the causation of my illness and immediately started to feel better, contemplating heading that way. I've not been down that track before. So the next thing is to eat more of the things that are going to make you healthy and do more, live in harmony with the principles of natural hygiene. So the foods that we know that are healthy, that are indisputably healthy, fresh fruits, veggies, right? And, a lot of natural hygiene people follow 100% raw diet. Some follow fruitarian. I haven't got to that point yet. I'm about 60-70% raw. Still having some cooked food, but fresh fruit and veggies is a key, right? And then give it time. It takes time. It took me 4 or 5 months before I completely eliminated gastric reflux, acid reflux. Now think about that, right? It's a multi-billion-dollar a year industry selling antacids and drugs, guard drugs and stuff, but I cured it in 3 to 4 months, maybe 5 months, just by stopping the causation and eating the good stuff, right? And you can do it too. So health's a journey, getting back to optimal health. I'm nowhere near that now, even though my blood pressure's come down, just about everything's reversed. My blood markers for the cancer I was diagnosed with has come down quite a bit, so I'm on the right track. But it's a journey. Health's a journey. That's the point of this whole video here today. Health is a journey, just like the journey through the forest here, up the hill. It's one step at a time, 1 foot in front of the other. But you've got to live in accordance with the natural laws of way man's meant to live, and natural hygiene provides the answers to that. I think it's the only complete system that's focused on health, the creation of health. The entire medical system is not focused on that, right? The medical system's focused on, let's treat this symptom of poor health. But they never get to the causation. They never get to the root cause, right? I never even asked. Nobody's asked me about, what sort of lifestyle you've been living to get this cancer or to have this hypertension. All I've been told is take this drug and you'll be on it for the rest of my life. Well, I joke with my GP, and she's been great. She's been very supportive. But I've said to her, I'll be off these high blood pressure medication within a year. And she sort of laughs and says, well, maybe not, but good luck. Right? Well, I've halved my blood pressure medication. And the more I get back into harmony with nature and travel down that journey towards optimal health, the better it gets, right? Even my osteoarthritis, my joints is, I've got a lot more mobility now. I've even started doing a bit of a slow run through these trails here. And, it just gets better, but it's a journey. Getting back to optimal health when you've destroyed your health through a standard Western diet, getting back to optimal health, it is a journey. It takes time. It's 1 foot in front of the other. It's understanding the basic principles, and natural hygiene, I believe, is the most complete system to be able to help you do that. So follow along, click subscribe if you've liked this video so far. Like this channel, click subscribe and hit the little bell there and follow along, and I'll keep you updated with my journey, but I'll share with you more in-depth details about how to live in an optimal way so that you can travel that journey back to optimal health and energy. All right, cheers. I love the way this says moderate. This is the way I've just come from down there. It says moderate. Sure, it's moderate on the way down, but coming back up is going to kick some people's ass. But anyway.